Hello everyone and welcome to the class. Today we are talking all about Evernote. We are live right now. We have over 200 folks tuning in through both YouTube and GoToMeeting. For those of you who are regular subscribers, members, you may be aware we are about to switch over to using YouTube Live exclusively. So what this means is that in the future you'll be able to just go to a website to be able to take our classes. You won't need to pre-register or any of that jazz you have to do right now. So it's going to be a lot easier. Those changes take effect approximately August 1st, 2015. Today we're talking all about Evernote. Let's start with talking about what is Evernote. Evernote is a little bit like a hybrid between a note-taking application and Word, something like that. It's free. It kind of combines a lot of really great features together. It has web integration. In fact, it has integration with pretty much everything out there. You can use Evernote if you're on a Mac, if you're on a PC, an iPhone, an iPad, an Android, a Kindle Fire, you name it, okay? All of these devices support Evernote. It's an incredibly versatile piece of software. We're big fans. I'm a big fan, and I'm happy to share it with all of you. How do you get Evernote? Well, it's pretty simple. You go to evernote.com. If you're on, obviously, an iPhone or an iPad, you're going to go into the App Store and you're going to download it there. Signing up takes 2 seconds. One thing you should be aware of is that Evernote has a free version. They also have a paid version. I have a little screenshot here to kind of show you the differences. So there you can see it. We have a basic plan, which is free, a plus plan, which is $2.99 a month or $25 approximately a year, and then a premium version for $50 a year or $6 a month. I know I reversed that right there. You can do whatever you want, obviously. In my own personal opinion, I think the basic plan actually works for most people out there. The exception of the rule would be if you're starting to clip a lot of photos, maybe some audio tags, files, that kind of thing. If you include a lot of large files with your notes, which I'll show you, of course, how to do later today, in that case, you might be looking at one of the higher-end plans. But today you're going to see mine, which is actually all the free version. So you'll check that out. The other thing, actually, sorry, I want to mention about this is under the free plan. See, it says 60 megabytes of uploads per month. That means you have 60 megabytes of notes that you can create each month, not the total size of your Evernote library. So if you take 60 megabytes worth of notes, which would be quite a bit for a lot of people out there, after 30 days, you get another 60. So it's cumulative. It's not total. Just want to make sure I was clear about that. Okay, the other thing, I want to make a very, very strong recommendation that you do, and please know you have to do this on each web browser, okay, is you might want to check out the Evernote Web Clipper. Okay, this is a feature that will integrate with your web browser that makes it communicate with Evernote. We're going to go more into this later, but what I want to mention is if you want the direct link to the Evernote Web Clipper, the link will be in the description of this video once it is published. So let's go into it. Here we have Evernote. Ta-da! So I want to first start with talking a little bit about hierarchy, okay, because it's an important thing to know. So technically, at the very, very bottom level, you have a note. It's an individual note. It can include text, audio. It can actually technically include video, okay, whatever you want. Above that, we have a notebook. And I'm going to show you how to create, of course, all of these in a little bit. And above notebooks, we have an optional third level. And that would be called a stack. And a stack is basically a series of notebooks. And each of those notebooks would contain notes. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to actually create a situation, a scenario for all of you where let's say that we are going around the internet and we're collecting recipes. There's recipes for everything, right? Between Food Network and Epicurious and all these other great websites that are out there. But you want an easy way to organize them and catalog them. So that's what we're going to be doing live today. So we're going to go over that in just a moment, but the one little quick thing I want to show you here is just preferences. So for each of you, whether you're on a Mac or PC, you should have preferences. On the PC version, I want to say it's under Edit. On the Mac version, it's always under the name of the application. Let's go into Preferences real quick. Okay, and just show you just a couple of little things that I tend to recommend to a lot of people. The first one is right here. By default, place new notes in the following notebook. So what this will do is if you create a note from the web, okay, if I take like a screenshot and I want it to go into Evernote, like from a recipe, I can give it a default location to go into. So in my case, you can see this is my real Evernote account, okay? For me, it's usually I'm getting my ideas for classes in the future. So I have an Evernote notebook called Future Class Ideas. But you can put in whatever you want. Okay, so if you have something that you maybe take notes on more than others, this is where you can tell it what you want your default notebook to be. You can always move them down the road, but that's setting your default. Next one is sync. Okay, I tend to recommend that you choose this option so it will sync automatically every 5 minutes. That way you don't have to even think about it. It just happens. Okay, the next one is clipping. This basically just will take you, this is a direct link to the Web Clipper, okay, which again we're going to go over in a little bit. Hotkeys, okay. The hotkeys aren't really that important because usually when you're using Evernote, it's going to be in association with a web browser or you're just going to be in the application. They do have some hotkeys. They're a little bit, as you can see here, they're a little bit elaborate, but the only one I think you might want to know is this one right here. So to clip a rectangle of a window, okay, it's Control Command C. If you didn't know what that means, that's Control Command C. That's obviously the Mac version right there. We do also have SnapScan integration. SnapScan is not something that we're going to be covering today. It is a very high-speed scanner that if you want, you can get it. It does come with Evernote integration right out of the box. That does not mean that other scanners out there won't work with Evernote. It just means that it comes ready to do so. So it's a really fast way to scan in things like documents, business cards, receipts, etc. Get out of that. So let's start. Let's go over how to create this stuff. So if we're going to be creating a series of recipes, what we're going to probably want to do is start with creating a basic notebook. I want you to check this out up here. See how we have File, Edit, and View? This is the easiest way to go back to the notebook view, which is what I'm on right now. So if you look here on View, I'm under Notebooks right now. And to create a new notebook, it's as easy as clicking this little plus symbol here at the top left, New Notebook. So what we're going to do is we're going to create a bunch of notebooks for different types of recipes, like one for desserts. I have a bread machine, so we'll do one for bread, one for appetizers, and then we're going to bring all of those together into something called a stack, which I made a reference to just a moment ago. So let's click on New Notebook, and I'm going to call this Bread Machine Recipes. I'm going to click it again. Oops, click off of it. Click again, New Notebook, and we're going to call it Desserts. Click it again. Let's do Italian. I'm a big Italian fan. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to merge all of those together. And all you have to do in order to do that is to drag one notebook into the other. It doesn't matter the order. So I'm going to take Bread Machine Recipes and I'm going to drag it and drop it here into Italian. And you'll notice that when I do that, it calls it Italian Stack. Don't worry, we're going to rename it in just a moment. But first, let's grab Desserts over here, and let's drag that in as well. So if you want to rename a stack, all you have to do is secondary click. For those of you who are Mac users, PC users, you're going to be right-clicking. You get a bunch of options right here. Third option down is Rename Stack. So let's call this Recipes. Great. So now you can see within this notebook, we have, or within the stack rather, we have 3 notebooks. So if I wanted to manually type in one of these recipes, let's say I know a bread machine recipe right off the bat, I can double click on this, okay, and you'll notice that when I'm in this view up here, now the plus sign says New Note in Bread Machine Recipes. So when you create a new note, okay, you get a lot of those tools that you would get in Word, that is once you type in the title. So here where it says untitled, that is the title. It's going to be a reference point, so it should obviously represent whatever you're talking about. So let's say I'm putting together the recipe for Italian bread, okay? And then you can click into this area here, and you'll notice all of our basic font tools up here. Up here we have our font, the font size. They don't give you a ton of options as far as what fonts to choose from, but for taking notes, frankly, I don't think it's the kind of thing where you really need 1,000 different fonts. Font size, bold, italic, underline options right here. Now for something like a recipe, I might need to have bullet points, okay? What are my ingredients that I'm going to need to pick up at the grocery store? So over here, we have a few different options. The first one is to create a bullet point list. So I can say flour, eggs, okay, whatever I may want. Let's remove that for now. Next here we have a numbered list. Okay, so it's just going to automatically put in your numbers. So eggs, milk. And then we have a checkbox right here. The checkbox I find to be really handy for one specific type of scenario. So because of how Evernote works, you can actually share these notebooks between different people. So let's say you have a whole family and there's constantly, everyone's moving around, everyone's going different places. But there's always like that one thing you need from the grocery store. What this can be really good for is you can share a grocery list to your entire family. So what you do is you put in what is needed at the grocery store, and then when someone gets it, they hit the checkbox. So that way the other family members can immediately see, oh, Susie picked up the eggs, or whatever it may be. We have strike through, a bunch of other little formatting options here. I want to talk about these here real quickly. Now this one right here might be a little difficult for some of you to see who are here live right now, but in post-production I'll zoom in at this point. This is for an audio note. Very, very handy for the phone, especially if you're doing this on the go. So what you can do is you can click on this and start recording a little bit of audio that will be saved as a file. Susie, get eggs. Bye. So now you can see right here, it has introduced a WAV file into my document. It's files that can be integrated with your actual document, and that includes audio. You can do the same thing with video or photos. So if I hit play right here, the universal symbol for play. Sorry, my speakers were down so you couldn't hear that. The next icon we have right here is a download button. So if you wanted to save that audio file, you can do it. Okay, let's get out of that. Next one we have right here, oops, I should probably, I'm not going to put myself on camera. See, this is the great part with doing live classes that are online. You can't see me right now. I'm in a tank top, so I'm not really going to show myself right now. But this next icon right here is for a screenshot. I have a screen cover, that's why you can't see me. Hit take snapshot, it'll put a photo in. I don't really know why you might want to do that, but hey, if you want it, you can. You can also bring any other kind of file into a note. And the other way you can do it is the Paperclip icon. It just opens up a browser window, so you can really tell it exactly what you want. Click on the file, even if it's video, and it'll bring it in. Just keep in mind, if you do video, you're going to blow through that 60 megabytes pretty darn quickly, so just be aware of that. Okay, up here at the top right, we're not going to go into these in great detail. The clock is for setting reminders. You can basically do a presentation with Evernote. It's kind of cool. It's not nearly as thorough as something like Keynote or PowerPoint, so I probably wouldn't overall recommend this for a presentation. Okay, the other items here, I don't think we really need to dramatically go over these. Annotate, if you do want to annotate a photo, like if, for example, I used to use Evernote for when we were looking at where to take a vacation. We'd use one of those websites like Airbnb or HomeAway.com, and I have a photo of the property and put an arrow and say, hey, check this out. So if you want, you can annotate images. The eye just gives you info, and then we have a little trash can icon. By the way, you can also trash a note by simply secondary clicking, right-clicking if you're a PC, and just hit delete down here at the bottom. So that's basically how Evernote works on a very basic level. Some other things that you can do here is you can add tags. Tags are really handy for people who have especially a lot of data. Now, tags are located right up here at the very top. You can see next to where it says Bread Machine Recipes, it says click to add tags. And these are really helpful for when you're searching on the web, searching within Evernote. So I might put bread, Italian, whatever keywords you would want to, bring up whatever this is. Now, the other thing that I made reference to is that this talks to the web, which is really, really handy. And this is one of the main ways that I come up with ideas for different classes. So let me show you how that works right now. I'm going to minimize Evernote for a moment, screen over here, and I'm going to just do a Google search for, let's see, how about olive bread? Can you tell I have slightly Italian taste? So I'm just doing a quick search for olive bread. It comes up with a whole bunch of different recipes here. Let's do Mediterranean black olive bread from allrecipes.com. Okay, great, looks good. So this is where the Web Clipper comes into play. And again, the Web Clipper, we'll give you the link in the description of this video for where you can get it. It's a free add-on. But basically what it's going to do is if you look at the top right corner of my web browser, you see the little elephant icon. That's the Evernote icon. So you're going to need to do this on every web browser, and it will have you sign in. But what it allows you to do is to save this website directly into Evernote. So you can see it's pretty consistent. There we go. So we have different ways that we can save this data. We can save it as an entire article, a simplified article, and by the way, when you click on these different options, it's going to kind of give you a preview of what it's going to look like. Simplified article kind of takes away all of the, funkiness of it. No photos, just very, very basic. Full page, bookmark. Okay, so it's just going to be kind of a snippet. It's really for the kind of thing where you want it to bring you to the website. And a screenshot. If you do a screenshot, what it means is that your cursor kind of turns into this crosshair, and you're going to drag across the screen until exactly what portion of the screen you want it to capture. But for this, I'm going to do, I'm going to do article right now. And you will notice that when you use the Evernote Web Clipper, check this out. See, it says organize. You can tell it exactly where you want it to save. Even though my default location is future class ideas, I can tell it, no. Go into... Why is this not scrolling down? There we go. I can go into bread machine recipes and have it go right there. I can also add tags from right here. Okay. Also, by the way, the annotations, you can do those. So let's hit save. You can see it's clipping, and let's go back into Evernote, and it only takes a second or two. It'll detect that there's a change. If you want to kind of speed it up a little bit, by the way, see these two little arrows at the top left corner? Okay, those are your, there we go. That is a manual sync. So if you're waiting, you can just click that. So there we go. So I've clipped this data from the web. I can access it, see the reviews too. Kind of cool, right? It's a very, very easy way to organize your thoughts and whatever websites you may discover. It's very, very, especially good for those of you who are bookmark hoarders. And I've seen a few of them where you open up their bookmarks and it's just pages and pages and pages and pages. This is a lot more organized. So that's how you use the little web clipper. Okay? So if I were to go back at this point, let's go back to View, Notebooks. Okay? You see that now it says 2 notes here in bread machine recipes. I don't have anything yet here in the others. Let's just do a quick another one just so you can kind of see how the other services here work. So let's say I'm looking for dessert. I'm looking for a key lime pie recipe. We used to live in Key West. Good key lime pie. That's about it. Go here. Let's see. Once again, all recipes. I guess they have the SEO wrapped up. And if I want to save it, go back to the Evernote Web Clipper. Maybe this time I don't really care so much about the image. Let's go to Simplified Article, switch over from bread machine recipes to desserts, and hit save. Okay. We can close out of that at this point. Refresh. And now you will see, there we go, 1 note now listed in desserts. Another trick I want to show you while we're here is if you ever do want to change what your default notebook is, by the way, you can secondary click or right click, okay, and you can make it, from here, you can make it your default notebook, okay. Another thing is, what if you want to collaborate with someone? I just mentioned a minute ago about if you have a grocery list, okay? Well, maybe I want to share my recipes with the rest of my family, okay? Maybe it's a collection of family recipes. So there's a way you can do that too. So if you secondary click on a notebook, okay, one of the options here, I don't know why it's not showing it unless I'm scrolled down. Let's do bread machine here as an example. Okay, what I can do is I can share the notebook. So if I do that, it asks me to enter in either the username or email, much easier to do email, to other people who use Evernote, and they can either edit and invite others to view this notebook. I can make it so they can only edit or they can only view. Okay, so if you're a business and you're maybe using this as a way to keep your employees up to date on different things, you might want to make it so that they can only view and not give them the ability to edit it. Otherwise, they might put, give David a raise in the in the notes. Let's hit cancel there. A couple other things you can do here. You can dictate. So let's go back to another one. This is going to be a bad example, I can tell you right now, but If you do want to dictate, for those of you who are Mac users, you have built-in dictation. This is an alternative to an audio note. For anyone here who does not know how to dictate, all you have to do is go to the little Apple icon at the top left corner of your Mac, go to System Preferences. From System Preferences, go into Dictation and Speech here towards the bottom in the center, and just make sure that you have it turned on, and make sure you know what your shortcut key is. Everyone has a different shortcut key. By default, it's Function. Personally, I'm a bigger fan of using the Command key twice. And so what this allows you to do is, if you're just maybe getting ideas out of your brain and just onto, not paper, but digital paper, okay, it allows you a really easy way to just talk. This doesn't always work perfectly while I'm live broadcasting, but we'll give it a shot. So I just double tap my Command key. And now, if everything goes well, I should be able to dictate. Period. Next paragraph. Pretty cool, huh? Question mark. Well, pretty close. Ha, huh. Similar. So another cool feature I wanted to make sure you were aware of. I also want to talk a little bit about the email ability of this. This is a really great feature if you, for whatever reason, don't have Evernote handy. Also, I used to use this all the time. Sometimes our fans would email me suggestions. I ask them not to do that anymore because it's become a little bit overwhelming. But in the past, I've gotten emails in from our fans saying, hey, could you do a class on this or that? And maybe it's something I never even thought about doing. One of the features you get here in Evernote, and forgive me, I can't really show you the whole thing here because I don't really care to put my info out there for the whole world to see. Here under Account Info, one of the things that you will find, and I can show you part of this, is when you go to More Account Settings, okay, actually just opened up for me on Monitor 2. And I'm glad it did because it's right up at the top. It will give you a special email address for Evernote. So it's got the word Evernote in it and a bunch of letters and numbers. What you want to do is save that address to your address book. So what you can do is if someone, let me actually just show you how I used to use it. Actually, no, maybe not because I don't want to show accidentally someone else's email address. If someone emails you something and you want to file it away, you can forward it to your Evernote email address and it will put it in whatever your default notebook is. Just be aware that is the only place it can go. It'll go to that default location. Next thing I want to show you, we are going to take a brief break for those of you who are tuning in via YouTube, not live, so that I can set up for this. But I'm going to show you how to capture documents using your smartphone, and it has some really, really cool features. For those of you who are live, there's just going to be a quick break. For those of you tuning in on YouTube, there'll be a quick commercial break. So we'll be right back in just a moment. Welcome back, folks. So this is what Evernote looks like from the iPhone version. And by the way, if you're on an Android, it's going to be very, very similar. So personally, I'm a big fan. I think that as a mobile platform, I think it actually works really, really well. They give you really all of your key tools right up here at the top. So if you want to just create quickly a new note rather, here's one way you can do it. Photos. This is really cool. And one of the things I want to mention for those of you who know what it is before I even give you an explanation, Photos has built-in optical character recognition, also known as OCR. Creating a quick reminder, a quick list. Chat is a feature I don't feel like a lot of people are going to use, but you can have sort of like a chat room between you and someone else who you're collaborating with on a document. Seems kind of silly to me, but for some of you, you never know, it might be good. Okay, so let's go over how to do this. So I was just kind of looking for a document that I could use for this, and I found a blank W9 form here. Don't ask me why. So I'm going to tap right now where it says Photos, and that's going to launch my camera. Okay, so here we have my camera, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to position it right above the document, and I'm trying to do this while holding my microphone, which is easier said than done. And there's a feature where you can have it automatically try to snap it when it senses a document. I'm going to just manually do it right now, so let's hope I get it right. There it is. I knew something was funky. Okay, so there's my little document. I knew there was something strange about it. So what you'll see here is I will be able, in a moment when it's done processing this document, to search for any word within this photo. And if I have hundreds or thousands of notes, I can still find it. So I'm just going to use the word request for taxpayer. Now it does take a little bit of time for it to process the document, so I don't know if it's going to work perfectly right this second, but let's give it a shot. Let's see if it happens. Request for taxpayer. Yeah, no real shocker there. It does, like I said, it does take time for it to be able to process that. For those of you out there who use if this then that, there's some really cool Evernote integration that you can pull. So if you want Evernote to communicate with something like Dropbox, there's some great recipes for that. You can check those out on your own. What I'm going to do at this point is I'm going to go to the folks who are here live and answer their questions. For those of you who have been tuning in through YouTube, I thank you for joining us today. Please consider hitting that little like button beneath the video. Also, if you haven't done so, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It is the absolute easiest way to be notified whenever we have a new class that comes out. In addition to our live classes that we do and the full production classes, we also have a lot of shorties that we call them. These are little videos that we produce that are under 5 minutes that we've started releasing randomly over the course of the week, usually several a week. So by subscribing to our YouTube channel, it's the easiest way to be notified when those do come out. So thank you for joining us, everyone. Class dismissed.